Yeah, it's been fun to see Jazzy switch out the roles over the years, whether it's Duelist, Sentinel, now some Initiator stuff for FlyQuest, but it will be Ghost kicking it off on the attack side. An early knife out of Ev. Going to catch out a couple players. Keep Ghost at bay for the time being.
Yeah, really good walk up towards A, just trying to contact, see if they can get any information here from Ghost. But again, Ev is alone on this site, and it's looking kind of scary playing alone as that KO, especially getting a lot of that information. And Edith is in that A heaven, but still not really able to be in a tradable spot.
We'll see if Edith stays alive here, because that's where the fight is going out of Ghost. Triple swing, ready to face up against Edith, and Edith will just slide on out of there. The support comes into heaven. Jazzy just takes that fight on her own while Melia drops out in mid. That leaves Ev open to open up on this site, but it's just going to be some quick trades scattered about as the troll up through vents will be spotted out by Edith, taking down Suri, and Ghost not even able to get a comfortable plant onto the site just yet. FlyQuest taking their time.
Being able to focus that A heaven was really good for FlyQuest, and they're able to be in this position to retake. And look at this, Edith right on the flank, but I'm pretty sure Gia heard that rope, Ender.
Definitely. Edith is making a lot of noise here. Having the choice to go back if they want to, choosing against it. Now Gia comes in straight from behind. Crisp on that opening shot. Now a paranoid to try and support and push these players into her teammate. Nice shots from Vanitas, already lighting up the kill feed. 2 kills in this opening pistol, rolling Ghost's way.
Yeah, I'm really wondering what FlyQuest's plan was on that pistol, getting all that information with the KO knife, but I think they just assumed off of that scanning 2 or 3 of those players from Ghost would make them fall back. But again, we talked about these 2 initiators on this roster being able to get a lot of this information. They got the information, but just didn't react. It felt like the rotations were on the faster side, Jazzy making it all the way to that heaven, but it just was not enough. They weren't ready for that retake, and Ghost did a phenomenal job, but they're set up for just a grouped exit here, 4-1 towards this B main, but that smoke is going to stop them.
Yeah, for now, Khaleesi's already in front of it, and I'm interested to see the Judge still purchased, even on the attack side for Khaleesi. Not dismissing that combination even after the nerfs come in onto the Neon and the shotguns. There won't be a buy-up at all here from FlyQuest. It is full classics for the time being, as another smoke will stop Ghost from moving forward.
Yeah, I think this is a good call. When you see so much util kind of being put down, you're definitely swayed away from going there. And I think for sure, because they're playing against an eco, you never just want a hard gamble, but they're opting for the split towards B heaven.
Yeah, Khaleesi already sprinting into that one. Going forward with the Judge. We'll slow the movement down before pulling the trigger on that. So the kill comes in, and a couple more on the other side. Ev stays alive on site with a nice shot of their own. The Ghosts are going to take this round with ease.
Yeah, this is a good round from Ghost. They saw all that kind of delay towards that B main, and they just opted for a fast split instead. This is what we like to see from Ghost. A lot of really, really well thought out plans, but also just being able to full send it when they need to. And I think that's kind of why they've kept that Neon, because it doesn't feel like Khaleesi's getting held off by it. But of course, this is a bonus round for Ghost going into this round, and we're looking at FlyQuest to just kind of stay in their default positions, because that's how they like to play. And for Ghost, maybe something on the faster side towards this mid with these 3 players.
Yeah, we'll see. Khaleesi's Judge is already into vents. It's a pretty meaty bonus round from Ghost. They bought 1 rifle into it, but already Edith has taken the first kill on the round. Ghost have the opportunity to pinch back into vents as the blind goes down. A quick dash away from Edith, but Vanitas was waiting on the other side. That Guardian is deadly from up in heaven, and now a stun gives Jazzykins no chance to play into the round. And keep your eyes on Gia, who has lurked all the way up into B heaven now. Here's these players crossing. You can tell that Theo was kind of expecting someone to be there, but the patience from Gia is rewarded for now. FlyQuest, all 3 players bundled together, heading over into screens. And Gia will see that Omen on the other sides. The shots eventually find their way. Now just 2 players alive for FlyQuest, playing against this bonus. Watching this round slip away would be an absolute disaster, but they might just need to try and save their weapons at this point. not time left to really play into the round, and they will shoot out Gia on the other side, but Melly and Ev just gonna have to live to fight another day now.
Yeah, FlyQuest opting to try to get that orb on Edith, setting up for an A main, but not being ready to capitalize off that fight. Again, they're not ready for this tempo that Ghost is hitting them with, speeding up towards that A heaven. Vanitas getting all the way into that A heaven, getting that pick was so important because FlyQuest, they weren't ready to fall back into sight, and they were not aware of the gap and the speed at which Ghost has taken it. I think for FlyQuest, for them to get any sort of success, I need them to be just a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more reactive to be able to play towards Ghost's playstyle. But for Ghost, they're doing a great job here. And of course, playing against this eco, it is a little bit of a low buy, but Ev and Melia having those guns is going to mean they're going to enable some sort of hold towards that B site.
Yeah, both the guns being on the B side is a good look, but now that players have been seen off of a good knife, Ghosts are going to work back into mid for just a moment. I think Ghost's work through mid the last 2 rounds has been very effective.
Yeah.
FlyQuest haven't done a lot. It's just kind of been Melia holding there, and as soon as pressure is made on either side of the map, FlyQuest fall out of that space. Now Khaleesi might actually want to go for something here. Fast lane up. We've seen some teams go for slower clears, just working their way into the front of sight, bait out some utility, but this time Khaleesi is just going to wear that one and hit the floor.
You can see FlyQuest grouping into this mid position, looking to do some sort of retake with 3 players holding this crossfire. The spot is going to be there, but instantly the trades come in under.
Very nice. Melia with that rifle, able to win that fight. Another one would be huge, and Ev will trade it out. So it's FlyQuest only with 2 rifles into the round, now with the advantage, up 3 players on 2. Thea also recovering yet another weapon. FlyQuest could right the wrongs of that anti-bonus here with a win in this one. But it still won't be easy. Fade Ultimate already unlocked from Ghost. Still a paranoia in Gia's hands. Right now, FlyQuest, they fan out just a little bit. Dodging that Nightfall into heaven, so Ghosts are going to be ready for players to come out from spawn. Thea out into the open will take that first kill, and Gia also drops. Thea gets it all done to get FlyQuest's first round of this game.
Yeah, that's definitely the winning condition for FlyQuest here with this comp, is being able to get information or set up a lot of these small trap plays off of the KO util or off of the sky. And I think that's finally what worked for them, catching Ghost off guard, knowing that they lean towards that mid round 2 rounds in a row. For Ghost now, looking at them to kind of feel like it's okay, you know, that they recognize that there is going to be a little bit more of that aggression from the FlyQuest side. They know that that's their winning position now. So I'm expecting a little bit more of some fast hits, especially because there is no Sentinel on the FlyQuest side to hold them down. But a full gun round here from both teams, and Edith picks up the off with that Waylay ult under their hands.
Oh wow. Yeah, Edith playing in male for now. That's going to be the new answer to mid control from FlyQuest, but I think after seeing no one there right at the start, Edith sets up for an ultimate into B main. Clever idea on the refight, but Ghost hadn't overcommitted, not like previous rounds, so instead Ev will just secure this orb and fall away. Paranoia back in. It's actually Ghost that are taking this fight. Khaleesi catches Thea completely off guard. I really like that calling from Ghost after hearing all that noise just snap in for a quick kill.
Yeah, that was really nice. The re-clear of information, knowing that they have enough util to fight it back because of the amount of util that FlyQuest had already used to take that B main. They baited out that Waylay ult. That's a really nice round. And again, ending in another B split here. Just kidding. They baited me out and the fake worked because that's so much information. You're going to hear that Prowler from the B site. And you can see Jazzy already moving towards that spawn, playing a little bit more of that retake towards A. But again, they don't have a Senti to be able to delay for long enough under.
There is an op though, but that Neon's a little bit too fast to actually catch with the first bullet. Another flash though will set Edith up for a kill. And now that spike down in the open, it's actually a fast lane to try and block off that operator, escort the spike into the site, and allow Ghost to play out this post plant. See what the plan is going to be for them. Right now, Vanitas playing a more passive angle. Now pushed just behind the green gas there. Edith still trained on this corner. So Vanitas doesn't want to peek just yet. Heaven, oh no, Melia takes exactly the wrong timing. Was expecting the lurk, but it doesn't quite matter. FlyQuest now work into the site. Khaleesi dropped as well. And that spike, not an easy plant to play from heaven at all. A bandit will finish off this round and string 2 together for FlyQuest.
Yeah, it was really nice actually from Edith to be re-peeking that spawn, knowing that there wasn't a smoke there. Being able to use that was really good. Now that the operator is online, I'm expecting a lot more aggressive Edith picks, getting that early information as well, being set up from Jazzy, and a really nice flash from Jazzy as well from that spawn to get that extra pick. A lot of really nice enabling here, which is what we said FlyQuest was going to do around Edith, so this makes a lot of sense. But for Ghost, they have this Visal online. Their winning condition this round is just being able to get into another post plant and being able to play that really well together as a team, using that Visal to delay that retake because they know that FlyQuest does take quite a while to set that up. But opting for just a 5-man here towards this A main, I think this makes a lot of sense for them.
It does, although they're going a little bit slower right now, so FlyQuest, who only had Jazzy on this side, now rotate 2 players over. And now the spam just lines up. Ev, one of those players to rotate in, will take down the enemy Viper. And Jazzy also steps out into the open, just catching these Ghost players off guards. No one expects another swing in from Jazzy, who drops down and secures a 3K to tie things up here.
I really like that FlyQuest has just completely sped up their rotates. They've recognized that Ghost has been going fast. If they're not taking mid, they're probably executing. If they delay the execute, we're going to see Ghost go towards that mid and set up for another split. So really well read, and you can tell the adaptation has come in here from FlyQuest. This timeout makes a lot of sense for Ghost because they recognize that their game plan has been caught. But if you look at this, they have 4 ults at the bottom of this scoreboard, but they are going to be on an eco. I'm kind of expecting them to not use it. If anything, they could use that Neon ult to have kind of a hero round, try to get into that site and try to get as many kills as possible. But man, this is looking a little bit more rough for Ghost. They have the right idea. They have the right tempo. They just need to rely on a lot of these reclears. They had that numbers advantage that one round that they allowed FlyQuest to re-clear into B main, but again, just struggled with that post plant. The spike wasn't planted for Heaven. We had both Heaven and site control. We just weren't ready for the flank as well. Just looking a little bit like the strats are here and there, but for FlyQuest, a little bit more put together. Their rotations have come along a lot quicker, and I'm hoping to see a little bit more ping-ponging from Ghost, just being able to put pressure on one side, bait out a lot more of that util before ending in that full hit.
Well, we'll see. It might just be a full hit end to A this time, although Edith will be trained on the aggressive line. A knife to set up for this. That's just some scouting. Not going to offer too much power, but maybe stop the punish onto Edith. If Ghost tried to speed in here, a Prowler will spot them. Instantly trades out the Saturate, and there's a gap in that Viper wall. Not sure if Ghosts are going to be prepared for that one as it comes in. A little bit of a mistake there. The utility is still coming online. Edith pushed into that corner, and now Ghost open up into this site. It is just the pistols from them, but already trade things out evenly. Losing that Neon ult, though, is going to be a little bit tough for them. That was their big swing tool into this round, and investing 3 ultimates to make this happen. I'm just not sure how valuable that's going to end up being for Ghost. This refight needs to be there for them, but Melia has good trades. It's still 2-on-2 for now, but a fight over Heaven is what it's all going to come down to. Ev flashes back into the line, and now trading up into the Phantom on 12 HP. Siri, what do you have for us? Jazzy's so aggressive, has full utility in the kit, but she doesn't care. She just dry swings it, and will take the round anyways.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a crazy round. I mean, Ghost using their ults to try to get that round down. It's quite questionable, Ender. I mean, you really need to be able to have a proper, solid plan, and it just all falls apart when Khaleesi dies right away with that Neon ult. But, I mean, they still have the Viper Pit. They still have that winning condition once they get into a post plan. I just need them to slow it down a little bit, bait all that util, because every single time Ev and Jazzy seem to have so much util to enable them to fight, to enable them to get so much information, and they don't even need to use it to re-clear because they have all of that.
Wow, Khaleesi is just in vents, and that is where their body will lie for the rest of the round. FlyQuest making quick work of Ghost this time. Saw Edith was only able to actually, whoa, look at mid. Vanitas just got 2 kills. While this reclear comes in. That bomb not actually pushing Eli out of the corner. And Ghost have opened up the space into mid. You can see FlyQuest have just fallen away, have given up that side of the map. They'll have the numbers in this retake.
Yeah, they need to get into a really good forward position here with such little numbers. 2v3, they need to get a pick somewhere. And you can actually see Gia setting up for that right now.
Gia will drop down the smoke for her teammate. Continue working forward. But Ev was traded. The operator was exactly ready for that play. I think FlyQuest calling. Their awareness in these moments has been huge. But Vanitas is quite the shooter. Needs the ace to win this round. Playing it well for now, but Thea is there with steady hands to take a 5th in the row for FlyQuest.
Yeah, this is looking really rough for Ghost. They really need to be able to use Vanitas' util, the Prowler, or the Eye to find where Edith is opping aggressively. Because right now, that's been 2-3 rounds in a row that they've been caught off guard by this operator, not knowing where it is, not knowing where Edith is setting up, but being able to kind of push Edith back, push them off that angle, and then go back into some sort of mid-default or some sort of split would be a better option for Ghost. But it seems like they're just lacking that little piece of information every time. But nice little lineup towards this B-main. It's looking like they're going to do an aggressive B-main push here.
Yeah, Edith has the rifle this time, so it's a quick double dash. Chance to even pull the ultimate out of this one as well. You see Ghoster sprinting into the B site, completely trading sides. With Gia hanging around in market, it's actually called off. FlyQuest come back into B. Somehow, Khaleesi is here with a shotgun 15 seconds into the round. She looks like she's the defense default player on B. And now it's FlyQuest trying to hunt her down. And she will die in the end. At the same time, Ghost have sprinted over to the A site. The fake, a success.
Yeah, a success, but for what? They have it's a 3v5. This is going to be hard. We're seeing Sari set up towards that A heaven, which is a really good thing. They need to grab numbers, but again, no one can trade this player. Sari's alone and about to aggress.
Yeah, stepping forward. This is 2 rounds in a row that FlyQuest have just been holding for the walk-in. They know that when Ghosts are down in numbers, they're going to walk up and try to get something done, go for some kind of a hero play. That control from FlyQuest is nice to see as they've done nicely to fight against this eco round of Ghosts. And Ghosts were happy just to get a plant, and now they'll be happy to get any kills they possibly can. So Vanitas already has that ult unlocked. That's a great shot from Gia. Upgrades into the Phantom. There's not an infinite amount of time. I saw the vision there where there's a double kill from Gia. And then dances around on site, but it won't quite be there. Nearly, but not all the way.
That was almost an insane round from Gia. 3 really nice picks, 2 of them with the Sheriff. But Ghost, they're really struggling. That was an eco round, so it was good getting 3 of those weapons down. But FlyQuest, they've obviously snowballed a lot of that economy, keeping that op in rotation every single time. So it's looking a little bit rough for them. But I'm confident that they can turn this around because they have the Fade Out, they have the Viper's Pit. They're choosing to stick together, but we're seeing Sari go back towards that A, be able to actually have a lurk timing potentially, and be annoying having that pressure. Thrifty again going fast towards mid.
Man, a male dive, but it's shut out. Jazzy has gotten 2 of these openers just spamming through smokes. Now the reclear comes into male. Khaleesi lucky to be alive, I think. Ellie had very nearly caught the perfect timing on that one.
Not slowing down is kind of crazy here, Ender.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. You've got your Viper still over on the A side. You need to open up some opportunities for the lurk to be found, but that lurk is headed straight into the operator. So what are you really hoping to accomplish? I'm not so sure. Maybe Khaleesi can do something, turning a flash, but now looking and expecting a player coming back into mid. It's starting to fall apart here as FlyQuest just dissect Ghost on every front.
Yeah, feels like Ghost is not catching a break. They can't really find any opening anywhere. And I think Khaleesi trying to get into that mail, trying to get into ropes really fast, it works for the first little bit, but it seems like FlyQuest has an answer almost every single time. You can see even in a round like this, the discipline that FlyQuest has, just holding, not over-aggressing, knowing they have that operator in rotation. And Edith has just been having a field day, able to get down a lot of those really deep angles, getting so much information, plus the KO knife, plus the sky flashes and dogs. It's just seeming like this is FlyQuest's game. And their defense is really solid so far.
I'm just wondering what happened in A, because there is a Viper wall there, and Sari just walked past it. Maybe just wanted to try and take a fight or take a timing that was less predictable. Not quite so sure. Definitely needed to make some kind of heroic move once Ghost had already lost that player on the initial play, but FlyQuest are able to win that round without committing any ultimates into it.
Yeah, they have 4 of these ults held. They really don't need to use them. And I think when you're looking at this team, they're really good at holding it and using it at the right moments. Ev actually used their KOL that one round against an eco, trying to execute and shut down a lot of those ults that were trying to be used. And now, 4 of these players from Ghost towards this B main, they're going to try to poke and prod, using a lot of util to get that B main early. But Khaleesi, they're going to hold, not go too fast. I think this is a good call. Just putting pressure, depositing a player, being able to put pressure elsewhere on the map, and going towards that.
Oh, wow. Faking the refight there. Just try and pull out the Vise wall. And it's a successful look for FlyQuest. I do expect Ghost to... Well, I was expecting them to stick around and eventually pop in. They do have the Fade ult if they wanted to send it. But they don't really have control anywhere on the map right now, Athena.
Yeah, they've deposited that Vice into B main, which is really good for sound cues, and they're opting to go towards back to this mid split. But all that util is going to be heard under, and it looks like a split.
No, wait, was that a dog stun that caught Eli in main? I have no idea. Khaleesi drops up in heaven. Ghost have just been taken out of this round in the blink of an eye. Looking for that pivot back into the A site where Edith trades down the gun that costs $4,700 for something that just costs a couple $100, and that is not gonna get the job done. Gia will land the kill, and now ult into the site, trying to speed up by about 3 seconds to get that one down more quickly. Maybe worried about a player in screens catching her on the cross, but regardless, Gia now finds herself in the 1-on-3, and FlyQuest find an 8th round into the half.
Yeah, this is looking really rough for Ghost. I think they really need to figure out if they can potentially take another round off, try to get this last round, because 3 rounds on attack, it's not the worst, but it's also not the best. You want to try to guarantee yourself at least 5 rounds on this side to make your defensive half just really nice. But I say that, and there's 4 ults here on the FlyQuest side. They could choose to do anything. They could choose to just leave everything and play full retake on either site and be able to do that. And they have Melia with that Viper pick, could hold down all of mid, and it's looking like they're choosing to do that. And for Ghost, their buy, it's just not the best here, and they're opting for another B main aggression.
FlyQuest haven't really changed their approach. It's the same players in the same positions for a long time. Thea puts some spam down 61 HP on the attacking Neon. Just working off that tiny little pixel in the smoke where you can see players cross. And again, it's just ridiculous damage from Thea. She will eventually be traded down, but that's not without Eli being brought onto 11 HP. And an attacking Viper's Pit threatening. Players sliding up through the gas. Now being brought down of all things, and Ghost not going anywhere with it. We're hoping they could have a fight off the back of that one, and they will secure a couple on the other side. As rotates come in, Edith has switched over into a Phantom. Still chances for FlyQuest to just hold the line here. I love Ev's position. They are in a great spot right now, but reveal themselves as Edith swings around. Drops in a Saturate in main as well to set up Ev for that kill. The tandem play from those two is nice, and if you look at the map, that spike completely out in no man's land.
30 seconds left.
Sari swings out into the corner, shots fired. 25 seconds, forget the spike, you gotta get the kill at this point. Couple of flashes, and Sari will finally get something back here for Ghost. The Red Bull clutch and a 4th on the board.
This is really good for Ghost. Getting that 4th round, it's going to be something nice. They kill a little bit of the momentum from FlyQuest. And I think it's kind of insane how the round that they won was just a bloodbath towards that B main, putting up Sari's Viper Pit, then pulling it back down, knowing that FlyQuest is going to try to even re-aggress or refight. Really well done. And I think also Edith had their complete long line towards A, 4 players from FlyQuest, and it got a little sloppy from them because they just couldn't fight together. But new half-ender, new game, new pistol, and it's looking like we're gonna have a little bit of a default towards that mid from FlyQuest. 3 players here, whereas we have Melia holding that A main line. We have Thea holding the B. This is how they tend to like to play, just allowing these players to get all the information first before ending in a specific place.
Nice, didn't tag Eli in mail, and Edith gets caught trying to bait the Vise wall. Oh no!
That is so
Edith's been playing the Neon for so long, maybe they thought they had a little bit more speed to make that jump bait work. I don't know. But that's a tough way to go at the start.
I think catching that POV too was kind of dirty, but that was pretty unfortunate. But it looks like they're not gonna make that stop them. They're still opting for this B heaven take here.
Eli out on Rafter. Didn't hear the drop. That's silent from Ev, who's had a monstrous game so far and is right underneath the opponent. But the rotate in from Khaleesi, I believe, spotted out that player. That'll be 3 kills out from the Vise, and Thea has way too much work left to be done. Ghost now have secured both pistols here and are starting to bring this one back.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is how Ghost's comp is actually a little bit more on that defensive sided, because they have that Vice wall, they have that Sentinel being able to kind of hold towards either mid or keep a whole site to themselves, being able to play that retake. So actually a lot of really good stuff for Ghost for this half. It's not looking too bad for them. Winning that pistol, hopefully winning this second round, and then being able to play that bonus. Pretty good, getting the scoreline up to 8-6. And I think Evil Eli has done a really good job with their walls, with their positioning as well, just holding. Now I'm looking at FlyQuest to be able to use a lot of that util to be able to get their picks versus just kind of running it down.
Yeah, right now it is going to be a bit of that running it down idea here. Just some shotguns now. I believe Edith had actually purchased the Bucky, but now Ev is also upgraded into that Judge. But once you have those shotguns and you're in mid, it's a little bit more difficult to actually go anywhere with them. You're kind of reliant on Ghost Gaming sort of walking into you, especially now that you have lost that waylay. So some funky smokes here to try and scale forward, and oh my word, Ghost walk into them! Ev got exactly what they wanted. 3 kills on a pistol round from FlyQuest, and Khaleesi, yeah, she got the kill, but that's 21 health now onto your Neon player, and Vanitas is looking the wrong way. FlyQuest are everywhere on the map. A Thrifty to get right back on top.
Ghost just getting a little bit too antsy. They didn't have to fight there. Yes, they were equalized with numbers, but they had the shotguns, they had better guns in order to kind of hold. They really did not need to re-clear that. I know they don't have that much information, but it doesn't matter, because being able to kind of hold, delay the execute, and let them walk into you instead is a much better chance of winning the round. And exactly what you said too. FlyQuest having those shotguns means they need Ghost to walk into them, and they did that right away. They're just looking to hit A because they know they have the better weapons now.
Yeah, Ghost Zone map pick is starting to slip away here as Edith jumps in. There's players all around them. Khaleesi now 2 kills on the Bucky, and Ghost might have just swung this right back. Khaleesi has the 3rd. And the only advantage Melia has for herself is going to be that Phantom in hand. Plenty of sheriffs on the other side. Noise is jumping around. There's a world where Melia has now picked up the spike and could just escape to the other side of the map. Let's consider hunting down for a kill first. If there's anyone up in heaven. There's a lot of time now for Melia to work off of. Could be concerned about a flank to come in. Now I wonder how long she can actually afford to stick around clearing out her back here.
Yeah, this discipline from Ghost just to play all four, gamble on the site. They know that they don't need to overextend. They don't need to over-rotate. Just play together. Left. They have the numbers advantage. Makes a lot of sense. But for Melia, looking like she's going to opt to save or at least play all the way back. And that round was kind of insane. Khaleesi getting 3 kills there. Being part of this whole, like...
Weapon here.
Kerfluffle of util towards that A.
That's a good word to describe what I just saw.
The kerfluffle was kind of insane. Melia's gonna hear that orb. Holding for any executes here. Sorry, exits, I mean. That's fun on
execute
Eli.
is also a pretty apt word for that one. Eli had no idea what just hit.
The kerfluffle just kerfluffled my brain, actually. That was insane. But Khaleesi getting 3 there. Huge. Finally, a little bit more of some intention with how they wanted to execute, kind of just holding and delaying that fight, being able to just play around in that orb, play around in the Viper's wall as well, just overall being really annoying to get into that choke point. So back and forth rounds here. Economy is kind of weird on both sides, but they are going to all have rifles at the end of the day to be able to fight this.
FlyQuest gonna slow things down at the start. Ev has just loved throwing that default knife in mid to see if anyone's actually looking for the quick fight. And I guess Khaleesi's just gonna step straight through that wall. No utility to even support it. Full-on confidence move out of the duelist to claim that opener.
The good thing about Neon is that you don't need to go fast on defense. You can just be really confident. You don't need to go overextend, and that's what Khaleesi's been doing so far, and doing such a good job just playing around the walls, being annoying, using that stun to be able to get out, and it's worked out really well for them. They've been heavily rewarded, and now FlyQuest opting to go towards this rope side.
Yeah, they sold a lot of presents over in B-Mail, but now Khaleesi here on the hold, and Edith just flattens that shot. Great entry from FlyQuest. Again, these contact lines just seemingly working out almost every single time for them. That'll be a clear sight now for Fly.
I think a small thing I'm seeing FlyQuest do really well is being able to trade and peek together. And it's looking really good, especially for this post plant, but Ghost have all of heaven here.
Yeah, we'll see where they go from there. The worry, of course, is Thea very late on the backstab from Vents, not actually clearing that out all the way. So Sari's given that opportunity open. Most of FlyQuest gonna dodge out. Actually, everyone dodges away from the Steel Garden. And now the fight moves forward. Edith pops out from the smoke. Good trade from Gia, but FlyQuest have every single angle into the site covered. Very nicely done, as swing is maybe a little bit delayed there. Not going to make too much of a difference now. Eli realizes it's time to leave, and Thea knows exactly where that cat's headed. Easy kill now, and a 10th for Fly.
FlyQuest just looking so solid with the way that they're playing the map and the way that they're trading. I think that's the biggest thing for me. Even though the rounds have gone back and forth, Khaleesi getting that initial pick and equalizing, or sorry, getting the number advantage was really nice for Ghost. But again, FlyQuest just choosing to take ropes. They find the gap in the defenses. They just walk up and trade together. That was really nice and well played for them, knowing that Khaleesi fell off of that A-main choke because they heard the fallback. And now again, another little bit of a weird buy from Ghost. They're opting for another A-main take. Khaleesi trying to play aggressive again, but gets punished instantly. FlyQuest, they've read this now. And instead of just speeding up, they're taking this in all control.
Ghost are gonna look for another fight in mid. Orb up right now just to cross one player into Vents. Sari caught that timing, so I don't believe Ev actually spotted her on the retreat. But now she's just out in the open there. FlyQuest have 3 players waiting for it. Eli doesn't really have the opportunity to step out. Now tries to tuck against this box as the wall goes up, but FlyQuest have already left this area.
There's a couple of things that you'd like to do or choose from when you have numbers advantage. You know that the other team could potentially do some sort of crazy reclear. And FlyQuest, their option to hold for the re-aggression has actually made them win a couple of these rounds multiple times. But as I say that, Eli is instantly on this super quick flank. Might catch FlyQuest off guard. Yeah,
one of the weaknesses of slowing down is if your opponent finds a gap when you group up, is it means a very quick flank. That's what Eli has. But right now, only one player seen. How long can Eli afford to wait here? That's one kill. Switches over to the gun, but Melia instantly turns around. That hope now removed on the flank. Ghosts are going to have to get it done with these two players, and the paranoia is there. Nice shots to open it up. Now Gia, though, has to turn away from the flash. Melia drops down to join her teammate on site. So Gia's going to invite them into the dark cover. Needs a tap on the spike to pull some attention, but FlyQuest have already shown up. Already have a flash to try and push her off of that one. Ev's going to step right in there. Now one-on-one offered over to the other side. Not going to matter, though. Melia has 3, and the round for Fly.
Yeah, that looked a tiny bit scary there. Ev running into that cover, leaving it into a 1v1, but it was all fine because Melia had the angle on the spike. They knew exactly where it was planted, sorry. And I think that makes a really nice round for FlyQuest. For Ghost, this is looking really rough now. 11-6. FlyQuest has run away with it. They have snowballed a little bit of this economy. They can still buy these rifles, but Ghost, they're so low on econ. They have to either play for the tie or try to really play for the win. Force up here, but they gamble. If they lose that round, they really are broke the next. They don't really have that much to work with either, Ender. They have the Neon ult. They've used it before on rounds like these where they are on the low buy to try to get some sort of presence. But Khaleesi pushing that A main has been set up quite a bit, and it's kind of been red. Melia is just holding for it now every single round, using that Viper wall to bait out any extra util, baiting out the Viper gas from Sari as well, and just allowing Khaleesi to walk into their crosshair. I think Ev, obviously, you talked about her earlier, having a phenomenal game. And of course, 21-9 is something to speak for themselves. But I think for me, the reason why Ev has been killing it this game is the way that they're using their util a lot of the times for themselves, but also setting up Edith. But being able to just take those fights, especially in post-plans, especially in retakes, and constantly winning a lot of those 1v1 fights that they need to win.
Well, Ghosts are going to gamble B main on 1 judge purchase and 4 players here. Paranoia off of that teleport, so Khaleesi can slide up and land the first shot. Now Ghost can't really keep moving from here. They're going to try and test some of these engagements, but FlyQuest will end up moving away. But they've actually left the spike over in main. Jazzy realizes it, has to pick that one up. All the while, Melia is just stepping forward here. Eli does have a Sheriff. It's very doable, and the damage from the Thorns brings Melia to a guaranteed one-shot headshot. Eli giving up the position for just a moment to come back around on this side. Has a chance to catch Melia, but Melia's actually made it back into the site. Ring around the Rosie from those two players, as the fight for heaven will determine it all. Khaleesi's in a good position with this judge. Has the baiting from Eli a little bit deeper back. Edith, though, doesn't even care. Lives on 14 health and secures this site now for Fly.
Spike planted.
Aggression from FlyQuest into that spawn, and it's not punished. Melia gets the pick, gets another.
I mean, Melia's just running through these players now. 3 on the round for her. No issues anywhere on the map. You thought Ghost, they got that early kill. Surely they can turn that into something, but as has often been the case this game, FlyQuest just too clean, working their way back into a site. And Sari finds herself once again with every single angle patrolled. Nice shot, actually. Knocks Jazzy low, but it's close, but not quite there. FlyQuest now 1 away from taking this opening map.
Yeah, this is rough for Ghost. They really need to have some sort of crazy play here. Getting a lot of information somewhere, being really aggressive, and not just Khaleesi. Khaleesi needs someone there with them to be able to trade, to be able to get that information and fall off. Once they equalize those numbers, being able to play back, because again, they have that Sentinel. They have the Vice. They have so much util in order to delay for a retake. They don't need to overextend here. And I think this operator is going to be one of the main reasons why they got enough information without having to progress.
The Vi's up on defense, but being flashed. And actually, look at main. Khaleesi just full sends it on the other side. Ghost showing some aggression on both fronts of the map. And that's going to mean FlyQuest almost certainly want to try and accelerate now into B. But with all this utility, it's not going to be so simple. FlyQuest trying to chuck ultimates at the problem, solve it with that, and that might just get the trick. Khaleesi, though, has already made their way over onto this side of the map. Ev is getting kills from back up in heaven, but it doesn't matter. The rest of their team hitting the floor. Now even with 3 kills out from Ev. Stepping up for FlyQuest in this opening map. Make it 4, make it the ace out of nowhere. Hello, Ev. Taking apart Ghost to win split.
What a way to end the game from Ev. We talked about them being absolutely phenomenal, and they just showed up that last round too with an ace to end the game. Kind of insane. And again, using those flashes to their advantage, being able to take every fight with confidence. That was really well played from FlyQuest. They definitely deserve to run away with that map. The way that they were playing together and just really being conjointed was really nice, and I'm really excited to see this next map, because this next map is going to be a little bit more interesting, and I think for Ghost, they need to lock in and be able to use that aggression to their advantage.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Ghost, last time they played Pearl, it was a 13-0 for them. So that's what they've got going into it, but a very different story here up against FlyQuest. I think Ev was already